Hey guys, got some Japanese locks to share with you today. One is the Alpha A lock. It's a doorknob set, and the other is called the Showa X-Key, which is part of a deadbolt set. I'm really happy to have these Japanese locks because mechanical Japanese locks are actually pretty hard to come by. Don't know if any of you have ever tried to get some. I know some of you might have some Miwa locks, but Japan has some awesome locks, more than just Miwa, that I can't get. I think you could only get them if you're in Japan. I don't go to Japan that often, so I haven't had a chance to try to get them, but at least I have these two. I'll do a demo and maybe try to do some picking. Okay, so let's take a look at this Alpha A lock. You'll notice if we take a look at the cylinder here, it says Alpha there. You'll see some wafers in there. So this is actually a wafer lock. It's got 5 wafers in there. The key, if you'll notice, the original keys. And it looks to use the old Schlage SC6 key with the bump in the key. So this key is not reversible because the bump is only on, see, this is kind of like concave. The bump is only on one side. And you can see how that would fit in here, right? So the key can only fit in this way. Yeah, it looks like all the cuts are the same depth. I think that's probably standard practice for this lock. So it's either cut or not cut. Let's just operate it really quick. Okay, so it's just a standard doorknob. See that it does work. Okay, there it is, operating. Okay, so I will try to pick this lock for you. One sec. Okay, so as you guys know, this is really similar to those old Schlage double-sided wafer locks. There's 3 wafers on the top, 3 wafers on the bottom. So you'll see, the bottom has 2 cuts and a non-cut, and the top has just 3 cuts. So yeah, even though it looks very similar to that Schlage, I guarantee you this is a Japanese lock. It comes with the instructions here, Alpha A lock. And yeah, there it is, Alpha, Kokusan Kinzoku Kogyo Company, Lock and Hardware Division, Tokyo, Japan. So yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is, but this is from Japan, and we'll try to pick it. Let's, sorry about the angle, guys. Let's get this focused. Right, so, let's do this. You don't want to go too deep and bind something, so let's do this. I'm going to try to just feel around on the top here first. Gently touch each wafer. Okay, and then I'll switch to the bottom. I have to go deeper now because those cuts are deeper. Okay, gently touching each wafer. A little bit deeper there. Okay, then go switch back. All right, there it is. Open. Oh, let me let go of the tension, and then boom. So yeah, the Alpha A lock. Old lock, but still glad I have it in my collection. Let's move over to the Showa X-Key. Okay, so here's the Showa X-Key lock. You can see I still have the tag here. Basically says to write down your key number. So if you lose your keys, you could order some more. Here are the keys. Original Showa keys. There's the X-Key logo, and the key number is 18A09. And, you know, a lot of you are probably saying, hey, I recognize that style of key. That's like a KABA key, or almost like a sergeant key, right? And you're right, it does look really similar. And there are a lot of like knockoffs of KABA style keys, but let me assure you, this is not a cheap knockoff. This is a really well-made lock. The tolerances are really good. From the diagrams I've seen, which I'll show now, they look like they use security pins as well. It works quite well, despite its age. It's very smooth still. And I have been trying to pick this thing for many, many hours. And I have not been able to do it. So, unfortunately, I know, I mean, it can be done. I'm pretty sure it can be done, but my skill level is just not there. This lock is a toughie, trust me. So, you know, what is a lock sporter supposed to do in a situation like this? Well, what I usually do is if I can't pick a lock, I'll try to find another lock that's really similar and practice on that. You know, maybe a similar lock that's not as bad. And you'll see that's what this is. Let's move that over there. I have this old padlock. It's the GYFG. There you go. You can see the logo. Kind of looks like a Star Trek thing or something. But yeah, here are the keys for that. You see like, oh, those look really similar too. But let me show you. This has 10 pins on the face. This one is only 8 on the face. And this one even has bitting up here, 3. So this is a 13-pin dimple lock, and this is only an 8. The Showa is only an 8. But this lock here is the tolerances, there's no security pins in this, and the tolerances are not nearly as good. So even though this has more pins, it is easier to pick open. And I will try to do that for you now, since I have not been able to pick the Showa. Maybe one day I'll get to this when I get better, but let me get my picks and I'll try to pick this one for you. Alright, so here we go in my attempt to pick the GYFG 13-pin dimple lock. Let's see, it works just like that. So it is in good working order. Let's try to pick this thing. Let me zoom in. You could see, I don't know if you can see that, but there's pins on 3 sides. You know, the top and the left and the right side there. So let's get some tension on the bottom. That's the best place, out of the way. And I like to use, for this lock, this half diamond because it works well, because the big flat area kind of works like a dimple pick, and then the point can work on the top pins, which are here. So it's just all around like the perfect pick for this lock. So let me see if I can get a better angle. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to stick it in like this, and I'll try to work on some of these dimple pins first by pushing just up and down. See? So let's push up and down. So just moving back and forth, feeling for what's binding. Alright, I don't know if you heard that, but something's clicking into place. Okay, keep going. Alright, felt a little bit turn on the core, so making progress. And like I said, all I'm doing is basically going from pin to pin, turning the pick up, turning the pick down, you know, like as I just slowly go back and forth. So I don't feel anything else. Hey, let me work on some of these top pins, or the bottom pins in this case. Okay. Sometimes you have to push these dimple pins out of the way before you can get to the top pin. All right, I think, yep, there it is. There it is. Picked up the GYFG. So, like I said, no security pins in this, but it will help train you, or at least train me. Well, picking a lock that's similar but not as tough is good because it just trains the motions, trains the control that you'd need for your other lock, harder lock. So anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, catch you next time. You guys, I freaking got it. After I made that video, I was just so annoyed that I couldn't pick it for you guys, and I'm sorry I couldn't get the... Oh, yes. I'm sorry I couldn't get the picking, but man, this took me like a good half an hour, 35 minutes. So I'm sure you didn't want to see a video that long about some guy swearing and yelling and complaining. My hand is killing me. You bastard. Damn it. But man, I got it. There it is, the Showa X-Key. Don't you just love that feeling? Yes.